Hi everyone, this is Slow Ted, and today I'm gonna do another track breakdown, and this time it's one of my favorite tracks called Wide Awake, which I released a few months ago on Sekora together with Swedish Red Elephants on the vocals. So yeah, let's dive in. This is the whole project, and as you can see, it's tidy as always, and I think we'll start with just listening through the whole track.
Unlike the dreamers, I'm wide awake. I watch the world grow older from mistakes. I'll be here till the end of time. See the change through my worried eyes. I'm wide awake, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. I'm wide awake.
All right, that's the whole track. As usual, let's start with what I think it's the most important, the drums. As I remember it, this track started as most of my tracks, which means that I start with the hardest thing, the drums, for me at least. So let's dive in. So this is the drums basically. Together with the kick. And the drums contains of a lot of things. First of all, we have some. You know what? Let's actually start with the percussions, because this is basically all the percussion sounds. And as you can see here, it's just a bunch of different loops. This is from a basic waves loops, which I've just, yeah, you can see I use this basically for the claps and some of the hi-hats. And then we have some weird Foley sounds. Yeah, I dub it with another one. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, and this is probably from a drum loop. You can see here. Yeah, just some, I mean, just a lot of different percussion sound. And what I try to do is to not use, or well, not only use like normal toms and bongos and congas and stuff. I try to search for like weird sounds. Sometimes I use I use Splice and search for techno and just put a random option on and just use like, yes, just try to find a weird sound, like computer made weird sound, and then combine them with like organic sounds, which creates this really interesting effect. And here I think it's just some, yeah, like this sound, for instance. It's kind of subtle, but this is probably from the techno section at Splice. But I mean, together with the whole percussion groove, you can really. You can drive, for instance. And I mean, I probably spent a lot of time on this, getting like the whole drum groove in place. And this is like the whole core of the track. So I remember starting with like this section here, or probably what I did was just to add like the normal kick, and like these shakers, like this maybe did some like hi-hats and stuff. Like this. Yeah, so this is basically 80% of the drum groove. And what I did to like really enhance the drum groove, because I mean this is kind of nice already as a dome, with just the kick and the percussion and the claps and like a big open hat. But then what I think is really important that a lot of people miss is the low end of the drum groove. So what I've done here is that sometimes I use like low percussion, like low toms and stuff. And in this track particularly, I used I think it's the same kick, but just, yeah, same kick, but with some EQ. And I think this is another sample. So we get like this really, yeah, together with the drums. You really get the groove. And when I'm trying to come up with a nice drum groove, I usually start with a loop. There's no shame in loops. I use it all the time. And I start with a loop because for me, at least, it's hard to really come up with the rhythm just like on the spot right away, just throwing in some samples. So I usually start with a drum, like a drum groove loop with a full top loop. And then I usually get like inspiration from that loop, so I try to recreate that loop but with different sounds. So maybe I copy or like just take inspiration from that, actually from the rhythm from that drum loop, and start building my drum groove from there. And in the end it can end up in a totally different drum groove, but just, you know, so you have something to start with, so you don't start from zero. So that's a great tip, actually, to start with a full top loop, and then you can chop it up, swap out sounds, and build your own drum loop from there. And I mean, apart from the actual percussion sound and the clap, this is just like a normal clap sound, like a really snappy clap sound. I use like open hi-hat, just some shakers. This is one from the Lotus Tunes Daydreamer package, and then I add some, I think this is also really important, like add additional hats, like really making the drum groove, really enhances the drum groove. Then some, this is really nice, I use this one a lot, the shimmer shakes from Shimmer Shake Strike 2 contact patch, really nice. Then I just use some drum loops. Yeah, nothing fancy, to be honest. I mean, it's the drum groove that does it's the percussion sound that really does the drum groove. I mean, listen without. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm just ranting about this all the time, the importance of drum groove. But I mean, a lot of people, a lot of producers would probably stop like here, and here is the finished drum groove, you would think. But I mean, or maybe, yeah. So this sounds all right, but to really take it to the next level, you want to add like this, like these details with the low end and this whole percussion melody. And as I mentioned before, you can really hear like the melody within the percussion. You can really hear it. Yeah, and this is probably like the whole thing. I'm not doing anything crazy with animations, I think, on this one. I mean, what I think I'm doing is probably, yeah, as you can see here, also I have everything on the drum bus, as I always do. And this time I use both the compressor and Loom. And I mean, this is like the Waves H compressor, and Bloom is also a kind of compressor, a dynamic multiband compressor, but I mean, I think it sounds good, so I use that. And what I do sometimes to make it easy for myself, I think I've done this, yeah, yeah, okay, I didn't do a lot, but sometimes like later on in the track you can see here I put the enveloper on to make it a little bit less open at some areas. I think this is the break section. I mean, if I would do like this, you can see it's very closed. It's like I'm increasing the decay time of the whole drum bus, basically. But here I'm just doing it kind of subtle in the break, I think. Yeah, because I don't want the drums to be as open as in the rest of the track. And sometimes I do this on the intro also, so it starts a little bit smaller, like this, for instance. Oops. If you would like it to sound like this in the beginning, but this time I didn't do that. Yeah, so that's basically the drum groove. And yeah, that's it. And maybe one thing, this is like my typical thing, I did it in closer as well, I do it in a lot of tracks, is I have this kind of sample. You can see this is from Spice, this is from Spice also. Just a normal, I could have done this myself also, but I've used this drum loop, just increasing it, and also this panned ride thing, just building up. I think I've added like a spread, so it's being wider and wider, you can hear. And also, yeah, I've automated the reverb, so it really, yeah, so nothing crazy, but just a nice transition into the big breakdown. And yeah, that's the drums. And moving on, I think what's also really cool is the effects. If you listen to the intro, this is like a, I don't know, this is like a field recording. Just people. And I think what I've done, I added Portal. Yeah, and then I reversed it. So it's going kind of reversed, which makes this cool effect. And then micro shift from Sound Toys to make like this weird like delays and stuff. It makes it sounds really cool. And then I have this. Yeah. And this, I think I've used Portal, and also, by the way, Portal, great plugin. I use it all the time. And basically what it does is it just has this like really weird glitchy effects and reverb and delay effects and whatever. So I can just browse through this. And usually what I do is like I take some element of the track or several elements sometimes. So let's say I'm using the main lead. I put it on a Portal, see how it sounds. I export that one, and then I use another preset, see how that sounds, export that one, and in the end I have like 10 different takes of different presets within Portal, and then I can just cut out what I think sounds really cool and use it in the final track. And that's what I did this time, I think, with this sound. Yeah. All right. So let's, yeah, and if you've been watching my videos before, you know that I love this kind of preset. I use it all the time. I call it the Böhmer bass, like Ben Böhmer bass, but it's basically this one from Basic Waves, bass pentasaw. Use it a lot, I still use it. And as usual, I have the sub bass, just to have it more control. You see I've got it at 200 Hertz. And then I have the top bass, which has no sub, just to have it more controlled. And I think like what I do also is that I think I sidechain the sub part a bit more. Maybe not, no, not this time, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I like sidechain even more. And yeah, and here's the same thing. This is my usual thing, what I do with the automation of the filter. To have this really weird, really interesting. Yeah, so this is like my signature thing, to have the automation on the cutoff. And it works really well with the kick and the drums. Like, yeah, and again, you can really hear that this is not just random. It looks kind of random, but I really made it so it fits with the drum groove. So you can hear like boom. Like here, for instance, this is like, because I'm using, I put it up an octave. Here. And to really like transition into that one, I'm using, you can see here, I'm with the automation of the filter, I like transition, builds it up into this one. So, I mean, like a lot of small details really makes the track. Boom. Yeah. So I spend a lot of time on this. And basically, usually what I do is like I do the drums and then I start with the bass and really getting like the core in place. And then I start messing around with the melodies and stuff. Yeah, but that's nothing crazy. I mean, if you've been watching my videos before, you know how I do my bass. And I think like, yeah, you can see it slowly builds up. So it increases, like the peaks getting higher and higher. Yeah, and also, this is also like a really cool effect, which I think really is, like makes the track like this melody thing. Okay, where am I? This one here. And maybe I don't remember if yeah, because I really want to enhance those two high notes. So this is where I automated, so I increased the delay on the bass. You see here. Yeah, and also the feedback. That's also cool, I think, when you have delay on the bass and then you don't have any of the low frequency, so you only get the delay sound when you're doing these high notes things, which sounds really cool, I think. All right. Moving on. So kick, drums, bass, I think, and kick. I don't know if I showed you, but I mean, yeah, it's nothing crazy, just a normal kick drum. I actually use this kick a lot. And okay, let's continue with the synths. As you can see, a lot of synths going on, and I mean, I think you can see it is as in 3 sections. We have the main lead, of course. I will come to that later. And then we have the chords, and then we have the like atmospheric pads and all of those kind of like ear candy stuff. So like the core of the like synth chords or whatever is these pads, and I call it closer pad because it's the same pad sounds that I've used in Closer. And as you can see, it's a very easy chord progression. I can remove. let's see, like, yeah, you can see it's a bit variation. Yeah. So I mean, even though it's a very easy chord progression, it's D, F, G. But I mean, what I do is I color the chords, so we don't just have the root notes, the thirds. I do it like so it sounds a little bit interesting or interesting. I mean, that's basically the chords. Like, and in the beginning you can hear it a lot because I have a filter on it. And yeah, and then I also have a string pad. Yeah, and this is, I use session strings, a contact patch. Yeah, I love strings. And I think in order to make a really nice string section, you really want to spend time with it and try to make it kind of organic. And now it's, oh yeah, it's very quantized. Now, not really actually. You can see here, it's not perfect. And this is probably, I played it by hand and probably I adjusted a few things, but you want to keep it kind of natural and organic. And also, like, you want to play around with different octaves and stuff. And also don't put the same velocity on all notes, because that's not how you play like a string or like a string section. All the instruments are playing on different velocities and stuff. So you want to imagine how you do it like in a real orchestra. But yeah, so as you can see here, like, I think this is kind of beautiful, to be honest. Yeah, so I have it's very, so I think it starts, yeah, so in the beginning you can hear it, like, you only get like the mid, almost a sub, the low mids from it. Yeah, so the chords are basically this one, this string pad, and these two silent pads, which I call closer pad, because I originally used them in my track closer. And yeah, that's the first part of the synth. And then we have the second part, which is more of the ear candy stuff. Still very important. I mean, if you see like the chords, the foundation of the synths, you have the ear candies, which really like elevates the track to the next level. And first off, I have this on, and I use this like a lot. I mean, if you listen to this together with the like, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, this is a really nice effect. I use it a lot, and it's just like a normal synth. I think I use the pan man. You can use anything, like auto pan if you use Ableton. Just, you know, so you get some variation. Then you can see it's very slowly. What more? I mean, then I have some ambient sounds, which evolves during the track. And I mean, I use this a lot. And I think you always want to do this to really build, not always, but I mean, this is a great way of building the tension. You can see how it evolves throughout the whole track, throughout the whole drop, then goes down during the break and evolves, and then goes down on the outro. And I think this is, yeah, flickering start. This is Oliver Arnold's composer toolkit. So great. I use this a lot, and usually I use it in the start of the track to really like build the atmosphere and like the whole emotional like foundation of the track. And I think it's so nice to start with. Just start with this. I mean, if you start with this, you have a drum groove, and then you have this, and then you start playing around with chords and stuff. You make everything so much more emotional, because if you have like a really nice pad, like an ambient pad like this, playing the same notes all the time, and then you can play fairly simple chords on top of that, but it sounds so much more emotional because you have this kind of stuff. And I mean, you really want to build the tension throughout the track, and you really want it to evolve, and you don't want to, because it's so easy to make like intro, break, drop, first drop, second breakdown, second drop, outro. So it's like this. You want to make it like all the time, slowly evolving, going down, evolving, going up, not just on the drops, the breaks. I mean, you want to make it more interesting than that. Yeah, let's see. This, for instance, this is a classic thing from Portal, the Portal plugin. Like this really nice ear candy stuff. And I'm not sure if I have the original. I mean, probably what I did was no, yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, what I've done here is I probably used like a piano lead or something, put on a preset from Portal, and just made it like go for a minute, just to get like really nice, cool effects, and then I can chop it up, and I get like this really. I mean, probably like 90% of the recording sounded bad, but you get this really nice moment with this really nice ear candy stuff. And I just put on some delay and some reverb to really make it glue to the mix. Yeah, and also what I've done is, like here for instance, you can see I pitched it down actually. I can see now 12 semitones. So originally it probably sounded like, yeah, let's see how it sounded from the beginning. Yeah, still kind of cool, but then I pitch it down. I mean, I just try to play around with stuff and make it sound unique. And in order to make it sound unique, you just want to mess around with it. I really try to like distort the sound sometimes. It's very easy to make it that you want to make all the sounds really beautiful, but I mean, you can have some elements really beautiful as like the string section, the ambient pads and stuff, and then you can have these little more like dirtier sounds or like distorted sounds or whatever to make it more like interesting. So you have this beautiful bass, and then you start to mess it up with a lot of like weird sounds, and I think that's what creates like this really unique kind of sound. Let's see, what do we have more? I think this is just like a piano lead. Yeah, but it's so nice. And for some reason I use a lot of effects on this piano, but I think this is just a Gentleman from Contact. Yeah, the Gentleman. And I mean, you don't need these many effects. I have the first, and as you can see, I use Portal a lot. First I use the initial preset from Portal. And I think what this does, it makes it like wobble a little bit. Yeah, you can hear it if you listen here. And then I put on Portal. Yeah, very subtle. And I don't know, maybe I used 2 of them to make it so. Yeah, very subtle. I can't even hear it, to be honest. But then I have some limiter to limit the sound, some delay, and some reverb to make it sound very dreamy. And this is another Portal thing, and this you can hear it from the start actually. Like this. Like reversed piano thing. And this is also from Portal. As I said, I use Portal a lot. I just have some sound, try out the, I mean, I use a lot of different presets, export the sound with one preset, then I change the preset, export it again, and then I have like 10 different takes, and then I just take it from there. Like 90% of it sounds trash, but then you get like these really nice moments. I mean, just, okay, let's do like this just for the, for this. Yeah, as you can see, like this is the original sound. And most likely I thought that this sounded really cool. Yeah. And then what I did was that I chopped it up and used the best bits. With some panning, some effects, some delay, some reverb and stuff. Like this, for instance. It's very cool. I would never come up with that kind of melody on my own, just playing with a piano on the MIDI. So it's so nice to have like these plugins that you can just throw on and to really create these really nice and creative things. Yeah, let's see one more. I think that's the like ear candies and ambient kind of stuff. And then also I think I use, yeah, this is just a normal like vocal ear candy stuff from Splice most likely. Yeah. Almost sounds like a synth, but I think it's like a core thing. Yeah. Pitch it down so it's in key. And just a bunch of effects. To really build like this ambient pad kind of thing. Okay, we'll get back to vocals later. And then, all right, let's do the most interesting thing of the synth section, which is the main lead. And I think we'll jump to the second drop, and so you can really hear the full potential of the lead sound. Yeah. And this, I've used a lot of plugins because the original sound is very boring. You can see it kind of plucky sound. And also what I've done is that On serum, you have the cutoff of the filter linked to the velocity. So the harder I play the note, the more the filter opens up, basically, the cutoff. But I mean, this sounds kind of boring on its own. So what I've done is that first some EQ, some basic EQ. I think tremolo is on, but yeah, it's not even if. So this can be turned off because I have depth is at 0. Maybe I have it automation on the yeah. So yeah, but it's most like, yeah, you can see I'm not even using it. So tremolo, you can forget about that one. And then I have direction mix just to make it a little bit more in the center, because I mean this is like the lead sound, and the lead sound you want to kind of have it in the center. You can have all the pads and synths and chords and stuff out wide, but you want the lead sound to be like in the middle, and then you can have some reverb and stuff and delay to make it wider. But I mean, you want to have the most driving instruments in the center. So the vocal, the main lead, the kick, obviously, like a snare, like it's a very driving sound. And the bass, of course, you want to have it like in the center, and like the sub bass, obviously it should be in mono, but like lead sound, this is most likely not in mono, but you can see it's very centered. Yeah, and then what I do, and this trick I've shown before, that I put on a high cut, and you can see I'm starting to control, even though I like this effect with the variation of the cutoff, which I get from having the filter cutoff linked to the velocity. I still get some of that, but I want to control it more. So I put a high cut, and quite heavily, nothing more than 2500 hertz getting by. And then I use my secret trick, which is putting, in this case, a decapitator, but any kind of distortion after the high cut to really give. And you can see the automation is going a lot, and that's what really makes this lead sound. And I will probably do another video how you can really make like a boring sound interesting with the decapitator or any kind of distortion plugin. But what I do is I automate the drive on the decapitator, to get this really like interesting variation and movement in the track. And it almost sounds too distorted, but in the whole mix it sounds very good. Yeah. And when I'm doing this, you can see, because the thing is when you increase the drive and you increase it so heavily, you increase the volume of the whole sound also, because you compress the whole track, and the volume gets very much higher. So in order to control that, whenever I increase the drive, I decrease the volume, and I do that by automate the drive and have it linked to the output. So whenever, and this is going all automatically, so I have just done this, and then automatically the volume gets down, because I've linked those two together. So you can see here. Oh yeah, you know what? I think it's inside here actually. No? Okay. Yeah, for some reason, yeah, it must become some kind of bug or thing. But you can see here that, let's see here on the decapitator that Yeah. So I have it linked. And then I have this Serum. I love the delay from Serum, so I use Serum FX to get like the delay sound. And I could done this because I'm using Serum for the actual sound, but I want the delay to come after, or like the big delay come after the decapitator. So that's why I'm using a Serum FX to get the delay sound. And then since we get some like harsh frequencies from the distortion, the decapitator, I use the Soothe. I'm not using this like all the time. Some I mean, this kind of plugin can be addictive. Some people use it on all the tracks because it's like the sound godizer on on FL Studio. It like you think it makes the track sounds better, but this time it's nice to just clean up some of the like harsh frequencies. And then a EQ again, because when you put on a decapitator for distortion, you can see it creates these low frequencies that you don't want. So remember, always put a EQ and low cut after the decapitator or any kind of distortion, because it makes this really like unwanted low frequency sounds. And then I use another delay sound, which I think I'm using just for probably just for automation. Nah, it's not even, you can see it's 0 or 1. So yeah, this is basically not being used. And then I have the space designer, reverb, and I think this is just for automation. No, I don't use this either. And then I have the just some side chaining from LFO2. Yeah. So as you can see, I put a lot of time even here to make it really sound really interesting with a lot of variation and like kind of unique. And try this kind of method I use a lot with this high cut and then decapitator, because you get this like also almost like an analog sound to the lead. And play around with, I mean, it's you can use like 5 EQs, because first I use the EQ to just clean everything up before I put it inside the decapitator. And then first I use a EQ, then I use a high cut just because it's easier, because then you get just normal high cut. And then I use a decapitator, then I can use another EQ. And then and you will probably see on some of my tracks that I have a decapitator, EQ, then I have maybe some delay and stuff, and then I have another decapitator to just color it slightly. So I mean, there's no rules really, just make it sound good, basically. And let's see here. I think that's it. And I think like we can listen to the last. And this one you can really mostly hear in the extended edit, but I have this variation. This variation on the lead in the end of the track. And then I have this like almost breakbeat section in the absolute end of the track in the extended edit, like. Yeah. What's more? Of course, we have the vocals. I will come to that later. And then, I mean, effects. Yeah, like nothing crazy. There's some like downers, some crash. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I don't like to use too much effects, and effects I usually add the last on the track, because I don't want the track to be independent on the effect sounds. They should only be like a flavor to the track, in my opinion. And I mean, it's very, you can see it's 39 dB, 35. It's very low in volume also. Yeah, and then finally let's take a quick look at the vocals. And I think like Swedish Red Elephant did such a great job on this one, and especially like this whole hooky kind of thing, like this. I mean, this really makes the track. And as you can, what I do here, I put this kind of different vocal elements into a bus, and then I have this delay, which I think I do automation on. Yeah, so I automate the wetness of the delay, so it really, yeah, so I increase the wetness of the delay. And then I think like in the, it's nothing crazy really, I think, because their Swedish Red Elephant does a great job on mixing the vocals from the beginning. So I just put some more reverb and stuff.
Unlike the dreamers, I'm wide awake.
Oh, let's do like this, so we get all the nice ad-libs.
Wide awake. I watch the world grow older from mistakes. I'll be here till the end of time.
Yeah, I mean, the vocals are really nice from the beginning, so nothing crazy going on. The processing I do is only, since it's already compressed, it's pitch corrected, all of that. So the only thing I do is like I put on some side chaining in the drops and some like delays and stuff, just to make it sounds a bit more interesting and glued inside the track. And I think what I do is yeah, I automate. I have this, you can see I automate the rate. So it, and I think I do the same on the synths, maybe, like the chords. Yeah, synths. You can see here. So you get like listening just before the drop.
I'm wide awake.
All right, we're almost at 1 hour. Okay, I think that's it. Let me know if I missed anything, or if you want to, if you want me to break down anything more in depth. But yeah, this is basically how I did Wide Awake.